Over the last 9 or so years here on Survival on Purpose, I've done a lot of knife videos. One of the most common questions I've gotten in the comment section is about how to sharpen a knife. And we've taken a look at several different knife sharpening aids and tools here, some good and some not so good. But when I was a kid, I learned to sharpen a knife from my daddy using a regular old-fashioned whetstone. So in today's video, we're going to go old school with maybe a little bit of a modern twist, and I'm going to show you how I sharpen a knife with a whetstone. And when I say we got a little bit of a modern twist, because I went out and bought this Smith's Tri-Hone whetstone sharpening system, and we're going to take a look at that and show you, how I sharpen a knife. Coming up next here on Survival on Purpose. Welcome back to Survival on Purpose. My name's Brian. Thanks for joining me, and as I said in today's video, I'm going to do my best to show you how I sharpen knives the way my daddy taught me. But first, a big thank you to the folks at Hog Holsters for sponsoring today's video. Hog Holsters makes the concealed carry holster that I carry every day. I'm wearing it right now. It's my Hog Holsters holster featuring the Ulti-Clip, which allows you to clip it on and off of your pants or whatever you're clipping it on very, very quickly and easily, and it provides a level of retention that is absolutely great. I have worn this one through multiple pistol and rifle classes with no issues with retention on either the pistol or the clip. So just a really great holster. You've seen them before on the channel. And Hog Holsters, by the way, stands for Helping Americans Wear Guns, HAWG. They've also created a brand new division called HAWGS, Helping Americans with Gift Selection, just in time for Christmas. And just want to show you a little sample. For example, you can get your very own custom gift here. Like this is a RFID blocking wallet. Mine says Survival on Purpose on it. Yours could get whatever you want on it. John's got these. He's going to have some coasters. Depending upon when you see the video, I know he's working on getting some customized Zippo lighters in the mix as well. So you can kind of customize a Zippo lighter for yourself or for a gift. So anyway, thanks to Hog Holsters for sponsoring today's video. And don't forget, you can save 10% on your order over $30 at hogholsters.com by using the coupon code Survival on Purpose, all one word. So thanks again, and now let's talk about sharpening these knives. I told you I bought the Smith's Tri-Hone sharpening system. I'll be honest with you, I've already made this video once, and my microphone was turned around backwards, and it was making all kinds of racket. It was annoying the heck out of me. I know it would have annoyed you. So this stone is kind of dirty now, but we're gonna endeavor to persevere, because I couldn't put that video out with that crappy audio on it. So as I said, my daddy taught me to sharpen a knife on a whetstone that looked something like this, just a stone. I got on the old internet, was trying to get one, and I found this, and I thought this makes even better sense, because it's got, not only does it have a Arkansas stone fine, it also has two synthetic stones on it. It has a medium and a coarse. Oh, there's a coarse. Let me just get that out of the way and show you. And the coarse. So we got coarse, medium, and fine. And then got a little stand that stands in, it holds it in place with kind of rubbery feet so it doesn't move around. And also comes with some honing solution kind of oil. So you can use water or oil. I've always used oil, and that's what we're going to use now. So without any further ado, and no more rambling, I'm going to take you down to the old tabletop I got here, and we'll show you how this thing works and show you how I learned to sharpen a knife. Maybe it'll help you get your knives sharp. Okay, so here we are, and this is not a review of this product or anything. So if you like what you see and you're interested in it, this is what it looks like. It's a 6-inch Tri-Hone sharpening system from Smith's, around $30 or so on Amazon. And you can see it comes with, like I showed you, this stone, the 3 stones, and a little guide to set your angle. And honestly, I never use that. Okay, I just don't. But as I said, I made this video before, and the sound was really horrible. So this is the knife I sharpened on there, and it was really dull, drug out of a drawer. You can see the edge on it now kind of gleaming, and you can also see that it'll shave a little hair there. So there's some hair there. So this one was a little bit longer, and with a long knife, you really got to drag all the way across it like so. So you're doing a lot of slicing motion like that. So we're gonna put that aside. Since this was my daddy's method, I found one of my daddy's knives that I got when he passed. And so this is a Schrade old timer made in the USA, an original classic. Nice little pen knife. And it's really better for demonstrating anyway. So the concepts are the same. A couple things you just need to know is different steels are going to take longer, and some of them are harder. The harder the steel, the harder it's going to be to sharpen, really the longer it's going to take, basically. Because what you're doing when you're sharpening this knife is you're removing a little bit of metal away from it to make it sharp. So we're going to try this one with the redneck sharp test first, just to see if it's not shaving sharp at all. Let's see if it is paper cutting sharp. Not really. It's kind of sawing through the paper. Very, very, very dull. And another way you can tell if it's just kind of running across your thumbnail, if it feels kind of rough, it's usually not very sharp. So we're going to start this one, I think, on the medium. Well, I might even hit it a couple times on the coarse because it is pretty dull. We'll just do so. I found that the oil or any whatever on the coarse stones, the coarse and the medium are both synthetic. It just soaks in. It doesn't really do much good. So I'm just going to take this thing and show you the concepts of doing this. So what you want to do is you want to set the angle of your knife. By angle, I mean if you lay it down flat like so, and then just tilt it a little bit like that, then that gives you your angle, right? On blades like this, you just want to be kind of low, about half of what the little guide shows. And then you want to start out like you're slicing off the stone and just all the way to the end. So you want to go all the way to the end of the blade. So do it like 3 or 4 times like that. Then turn it over, try to maintain about the same angle, and just go the other direction. You kind of will feel the roughness. When you quit feeling roughness, you know you've done something. So we'll get on the coarse stone, the medium stone now. Put a little bit of oil on here, but see how quickly it goes into that? It just absorbs into the synthetic stone. And so just going to go about 6 times, maintain that same angle, come back, and you notice we're going all the way down like that, all the way down, so we're catching the whole blade. And not just straight, but you're going to slice it over. And you can either do it, front, one, down and back, one stroke at a time, or you can do a few, and do the same. That was 5, and just do the same coming back. And I always like to check it out a little bit, see how close we seem to be getting. And so we're going to do a couple more on this, and we'll try on the fine edge. I can tell that the tip of it needs a little extra. But if you need to work on a particular portion of the blade, like my tip was looking pretty dull, so I'm really trying to work on the tip, it's okay to focus on that part of it. But if you do that, try to come back and blend the whole thing again. Okay, I'm not a fan of these synthetic stones, to be honest with you. I like a natural stone. This one is a fine. We're going to put some oil on there and put a lot of oil on it. And then I always just kind of smear it on like you're buttering bread. It's okay to have a lot of oil. You can't have too much, really. All right, now, same thing with the fine. Just a little bit more. Okay, you want to try it now? Let's see if it'll slice some paper now. So you know what? Still needs a little bit more. more thing you can do to really kind of fine tune this, and this is honestly not something that my daddy showed me, but I learned this on the old internet, but you've probably seen it in barbershops. It's called stropping, and the best way to do that is just take a piece of leather. They make stropping compounds and all these special leather strops and all that, but I just use a piece of leather, and you can even take an old belt, sit it like so, and then you want to just go in reverse against it. So not like when you're doing the sharpening, it's like you're slicing at the stone. When you're doing the stropping, you're pulling it backwards. And what that's is intended to do is to when you're carving this metal, you're carving the metal off this way. Basically, you're just removing a little metal. You build up a little bit of a kind of a wire bead or kind of like a burr there, and whichever one you did last, it kind of bends back and forth. And what the strop is intended to do is just remove that burr. You know, I know you've seen old-timey barbers stropping their razor like that, and I've always wondered how does that get it sharp, but I learned that on the old internet. It's amazing what you can learn on the internet, isn't it? So now let's see how it does on the paper. It's kind of a short blade, so it's really hard to get a good long slice on it, but not bad. Much, much better than it was. What about the old redneck sharp test? Shall we try it and see? I don't know if you can see that, but there's some hair there, so I think it could still stand to be a little sharper, but it's really sharp now. I'll tell you a little story real quickly. When I was in high school, I carried a knife that was I'm a little older than some people, I guess. You can still have knives in your pocket when I was in high school. So I had a knife the handle was about that long, and it was by golly hair popping sharp. And this guy asked me if he could, he wanted to see it. I said, be careful, it's sharp. He took this thing and said, I don't know, is it really sharp? And ran his thumb down it like this, and just laid it open. Blood started pouring out. The teacher, who happened to be a coach, took my knife away. You know, sent him to get a Band-Aid, and he wouldn't let me have my knife back till after school. Can you believe that? So anyway, there you go. Okay, so that is how my daddy taught me to sharpen a knife, and what's good about that process is using an old-fashioned whetstone. It works with almost any knife. A knife like this, or even a knife like this. In fact, even a knife like this. And real quickly, just if you want to talk about sharpening a tanto, there's one big difference. When you're sharpening a knife like this, you want to come down and slice across all the way to the tip. On a tanto blade, that part there, that little part there, you want that to stay sharp if you can. That's the purpose of having a tanto. One of the purposes of having a tanto is to keep that sharp. So what I do when I'm sharpening that, and I sharpened this one on here on the other video that you didn't see, unfortunately, is basically sharpen this as two separate parts. Sharpen this down to the corner and then sharpen it this way. So sharpen it in two separate pieces, and don't just pull it across, because if you pull it across, you're going to round that corner off. One more thing, and I'll shut this up then. When Chuck Norris left for college, he looked at his dad and said, "Dad, you're the man of the house now." If you're sharpening something with a very pronounced bevel on it, like a Scandi grind, then you just want to find that point where, if you look at this thing, this little corner of the bevel is actually could be like a fulcrum, and so it'll make a lever. So if you notice you put the blade flat on here, you can see the edge is up just a little bit. You see that? When you tilt it down, when the edge hits down, then that is the angle you're looking for. If you tilt it up a little more, you can feel it come off that bevel. So right here, you can feel that it's flat. It's just a feel thing, and that's the angle you want to maintain when you're sharpening the whole time. You will get the hang of it if you do it. If you don't do it, you'll never get the hang of it. Another thing you can do is take a Sharpie or magic marker and just color in that whole bevel, whether it's a big bevel like this, a little bevel on something else. And then if your strokes remove all of the magic marker, you know you've got the angle right. For example, you see I had this thing marked a little bit with some black magic marker. So if you mark this whole thing and then you sharpen it a few times, if the only magic marker that's removed is on the edge, that means you have got it too steep. You got the angle too steep away from the stone. If the metal's removed here at the top of the bevel on the blade, that means you've got your blade too shallow on the stone, and you're not hitting the whole thing. So I know it sounds complicated, but if you try it one time, you'll get it because you're smart, because you're watching this channel. So I will tell you this, it's really important to keep your knife sharp because a sharp knife is a safer knife. You don't have to put as much force into it, and the less force you have to use, the less chance there is that you're going to screw something up. So I hope this has been helpful. I hope this answers your questions about at least one way to sharpen a knife. There are certainly others. This is just old school, and I like it, and it works. So I really appreciate you watching Survival on Purpose. Remember, survival is not an accident, so be prepared and keep your knives sharp. I'll see you next time.